Let's stop pretending privatization is anything but theft. Theft disguised as efficiency. Theft that turns public goods, services meant to benefit all into profit machines for the few. Today, we're talking about the post office, but really, we're talking about everything that privatization touches. Let's break it down. The Enlightenment gave us a radical idea. Society should exist for the benefit of all. Thinkers like Rousseau and Locke talked about the social contract, a pact where we, as a collective, agree to build systems that serve the common good. Public institutions, like the post office, are the embodiment of that contract. They exist not to generate profit, but to provide a service, a lifeline that connects us, no matter who we are or where we live. Privatization spits on that idea. When you privatize a public good, you introduce a parasite, profit. That profit doesn't go to you. It doesn't go to improving the service. It goes to shareholders, to executives, to people whose only goal is to extract as much money as possible from something that was never meant to be a cash cow. Let's call it what it is. Privatization isn't efficiency. It's a profit tax. It's a tax on you, me, and every person who depends on public services. A public post office reinvests every dollar back into delivering the mail. A privatized post office? It siphons off a chunk of that revenue to line the pockets of the wealthy. In what universe is that better? Here's the Enlightenment perspective they don't want you to remember. Government isn't the enemy. Corruption is. Greed is. The entire point of public institutions is to insulate critical services from the corrosive effects of greed. Public goods are not commodities. They are the bedrock of civilization. The irony is that privatization always promises the same things: efficiency, innovation, better service. But look at the track record. Privatized rail systems, higher prices, worse service, privatized healthcare, astronomical costs, millions uninsured, privatized prisons, human suffering turned into a profit margin. The post office isn't just a business. It's a public trust. It's the reason a grandmother in rural Montana can send a birthday card for the same price as someone in Manhattan. It's the backbone of small businesses, the lifeline of rural communities, the most accessible service we have. And yet, there are those who would dismantle it in the name of profit. Think about what privatization really means. It means turning over a system built for equity to people who see equity as inefficiency. It means prioritizing dividends over delivery. It means asking who can pay instead of who needs this service. And let's not ignore the obvious. Privatization isn't just about greed. It's about control. The post office has always been a symbol of democracy, of connection, of the idea that every citizen deserves equal access. Privatization fractures that. It creates tiers of service, hierarchies of access. It says, if you're poor, rural, or inconvenient, you're less important. This isn't just about the post office. It's about the soul of public service. The Enlightenment taught us that society thrives when we act collectively, when we invest in institutions that prioritize the common good over private gain. Privatization is a betrayal of that principle. It turns the public good into private wealth, the social contract into a business transaction. So let me ask you, do you want to live in a society where every service, every necessity, every thread of connection is for sale? Or do you believe, like I do, that some things should belong to all of us? Privatization is theft, a profit tax on the public good. It's time we stopped accepting it as inevitable and started fighting for what's ours.